quick interruption to invite you to my new hands-on workshop. We're going to plan your best year yet. Yeah, we're going to sync up comms, fundraising, and marketing for a bird's eye view of your entire plan for the year. This is for you if you're worried about donor fatigue. This is for you if you're saying to yourself, how do we attract more donors and supporters? How do we increase visibility without tiring and burning everybody out? Go to splendidcourses.com/plan. Spots are limited because we have an intimate group coming in this hands-on workshop. You're going to leave with my template completely filled out and ready to rock. Welcome to the Purpose and Profit Club podcast for nonprofit leaders, mission-driven creatives, and social entrepreneurs. Get ready to stop dreaming and start doing. Here, ideas become action. We prioritize purpose and profit. You ready? Let's go. Welcome, Kathy Ruiz Carter. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. This is just such a joy to welcome you on and tell everybody about the important work you do. I know that we're going to dig into women's health, and that's like a hot button for me. So I'm thrilled to have you on. So first to start, tell us about your organization and your role and kind of what you're working on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. So I am executive director and co-founder of the Lichen Sclerosis podcast. And we empower people that have lichen sclerosis through evidence-based education and support. And our whole mission is to give people the tools that they need to live happy, healthy lives with this condition. And most people have never heard of this condition. Lichen sclerosis is a skin condition that mainly affects the female genitals. And so, there's a lot of stigma around it. And so, people don't talk about it. And then it's not just on the patient side, on the medical provider side, it falls between two specialties. So gynecology and dermatology, because it is a skin condition. And the problem is most gynecologists, they're not looking at the outside of the genitals. They are going straight in and they don't even pay attention. And on the dermatology side, you're going in for your skin check and most of them are not looking down there. So a lot of people are falling through the cracks. And we are pumping out information and trying to change that because, this is a non-curable condition. And as you can imagine, when we have stuff going on down there, it's going to change a lot of things, not just our skin.
Yeah. And I saw you share when it was Rare Disease Day, which was recently. It was so interesting to see so many of the organizations that I've worked with sharing that. And just when you are impacted, when you serve a population that works in sort of a rare disease, it's underfunded, it's under talked about, it's under everything. And like you said, you just kind of pointed out two of the big problems, which is, a woman comes in saying, this is what I'm experiencing. I'm sure it's being misdiagnosed, or they're ping-ponging, go see a dermatologist. Mm-hmm. As someone who gets their skin checkups once a year, my dermatologist, yeah, I mean, not exactly the area she's working on, she's looking at, Yeah. So yeah, I can see how it would just be either misdiagnosed or just missed altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. And on average, it takes 5 to 15 years to get a diagnosis.
And meanwhile, women are having, I would imagine, lots of symptoms and feeling.
And it's progressive. That's the thing. It's progressive. Yeah. So it's like you can start off with one symptom, mm-hmm. and over time, if you're not managing your condition, it can even progress to vulvar cancer, which is insane.
Yeah. I want to put a quick footnote in this conversation with it, which is, I know some dudes listen to this podcast and they might be like, all right, listen, dudes, because we're about to talk about your success in this advocacy work, your success in bringing visibility to your mission and what you've done in a really short amount of time. That's why I was like, you have to come on the podcast. So you may not be serving women's health, but this is very, very applicable to any mission or cause, especially ones where you're saying things like, it's hard. Not a lot of people know our disease even exists, right? That type of thing. So I feel like you first came into my world when you joined Amplify Social Impact, right? Is that true?
I actually came into your world a year prior. I
Okay,
got
cool.
the bundle that you put out
Yep.
with all
Yep.
the other coaches.
Oh yeah. Wait, with Sean and Holly? That bundle? Was it that?
Yeah, the one for
Yeah.
oh my God. The after Thanksgiving, the Black Friday
Yeah. Yeah.
bundle. Yep.
We love
That's when I got introduced to you. And I just want to make one thing clear for the guys too. Guys can get this condition. It's rarer, but they can. And right now, we don't have the resources to really research and provide the level of care that is what it's our mission to give for guys, but our hope is to grow where we do have that information for guys. So guys, check us out too, because I'm sure you got moms, sisters, daughters, nieces. This is also, there's a genetic component to it. So check us out. But yes, our growth has been amazing.
Tell us. So what were you struggling with before Amplify Social Impact, before you really said, let me work on this visibility thing, this funding thing? Like, where were you? And let's talk
Yeah,
about some wins. Yeah.
absolutely. So we are 100% donor funded. We don't get any grants. We don't have any fancy sponsorships with organizations or anything like that.
Yet.
And yet, that's right, yet. Um, but one of the things that we struggled with is, are we hitting up our community for donations too often? Like, do we want, do you want to keep sending the please donate, please help? And so in the beginning, and I should say, we started our nonprofit in August of 21, but we didn't really start until you have the whole setting up the board and the bylaws and all that stuff. So we didn't really start working until 2022, and then we really got started in 2023. So for us, being new, having a small, a niche kind of, very small, nobody really knows us. And the only people who really find us are patients. So it's like, okay, are we going to keep hitting up our patients to fund us? And it's unfair, right? We already are underfunded. We're under researched as a disease, and now we got to fund our own nonprofit too, you know. And that's where we are. And it's like the messaging is like, and I got this from one of the talks that I did with you during Giving Tuesday. Through we were doing those sessions, and it was like, yeah, it sucks, and unfortunately, this is where we are now. But, tell somebody, tell people, tell everybody so that we can change, right? You never know who you know. And I'm speaking as far as like our donors. You never know who you know. And one of the problems with that, especially with our condition, is the stigma, right? A lot of people don't want to talk about, well, I have this condition, because it's personal. And so we kind of gave them, with your help, we gave them the messaging of, hey, you don't have to tell them. First off, you don't have to tell them that you have this. Second of all, you can just say it's a skin condition, but very rarely are people going to go looking and doing the Google search unless it very personally affects them. You just tell them, hey, this is a progressive, uncurable skin condition that really affects people greatly, and I love to support them. Will you help me support them? Right. And so being able to give them the messaging, I think, has helped with getting the word out and getting more donors. So over the last year, this past year, 2023 was a huge year of growth for us. 2022, we were getting, the whole year, we had about 17,000 hits on our website. last year, 2023, we ended with over 150,000 hits on our website.
Amazing.
Yeah. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And our email list grew from 1,000 to we're right at the cusp of 4,000
Come on.
people right now. Yeah.
4x.
Yes.
4x. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And our revenue year over year, we doubled our revenue
Yes.
year over year.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was very much Giving Tuesday. That's when you and I really, really started working
Yep.
more closely. Before that, I
Yep.
was just getting the emails and things like that.
Yep.
And then you did a webinar for Amplified Social,
Uh-huh.
which I've always had, like, we call them our champions, but they're like our doctors, our speakers in our network, who have social media followings. But I had not reached out to other influencers, so to say.
Yeah.
And when I heard your webinar, I was like, yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
I've been doing it on a so much granular, small scale, and only when, like, we're doing events or something like that. But to think that I could have a year-long program and really be strategic about holding campaigns and reaching out to other people who care, who have audiences that are may not have our condition, but who kind of our sister kind of
Yep. Who care about women's health.
audiences. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm taking the course. I have a volunteer. I recruited a volunteer, and she and I are doing the course together. And we're laying down the foundation so that this summer we can host our first campaign. So I'm really excited about that. And then what I was saying, part of the Amplified Social was that we got a bonus with Help for Giving Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
Which that was so helpful. So we had a $10,000 goal, which we did the previous year. The previous year we got a little over 5,000.
Okay.
But mind you, 2,000 of that was from the board. Those were board donations. So really it was 3,000 that was from donors.
Sure.
Like outside donors.
Yeah.
And so this year, again, our goal was 10,000. And this year, without any board donations, we did 8,700.
Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good.
And I credit it 100% to our email game, which was completely different. So previous years, we had that scarcity, like, oh, we don't want to email them too much. Oh, we don't want to, bother them. Oh, we don't want to keep asking for money. And so we would do we always stretched Giving Tuesday out a week. So it was like, we just did. And it worked, right? We still got donations afterwards. But this year we added an event. So we did an event on Giving Tuesday with a provider. So that gave us an excuse to start
an online event, right?
Yes.
Online.
Everything we do right now is virtual. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Which is part of what I love about your strategy. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's no cost, right? Yeah. It's no cost. So, low cost. But so doing the event on Giving Tuesday gave us an excuse to start talking about Giving Tuesday 2 weeks ahead of time. Because, we had to let people know, hey, this is coming up and this is why we're doing it. And this is what's going to be helping. And the event was free. Let me make that clear, because what we've found over time is that we could charge for the event and we would get people, but our audience loves free. They will support free. And we make more donations when we give free content and let people know, we always have a blurb. hey, this event is free, but if you want to support and help us to do
Yep.
more of this, leave us a donation. And they just start pouring in.
That is part of what I've really seen in the magic in the work that you do is you really are willing to like try this, evaluate, figure out what's working, what you want to improve on. And the fact that you're understanding your audience and their preferences and being like, okay, I can get way more volume of people to the event for free, which means more hype, more engagement, more everything. And yet it converts higher, like pre and post, like during the event for donations too. And that takes, the only way you'll know that is by trying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the other thing that we did different was we sent I don't know the exact figure, but I think we 4x'd our emails from the
Yeah.
previous year.
I love it because you put your hand to your chest, and what my brain did was an uncomfortable amount of emails, Christina. We sent an uncomfortable amount of emails.
It was.
Yeah, I get it.
It was. I think after I did we always do like a check-in afterwards, and if I remember the figure correctly, over that stretch, we sent a total of over 22,000 emails to this group of three, at that time it was like 3,000, 3,200.
Right.
So that was a lot of emails.
Yes.
And one of the things was on Giving Tuesday, we were, I believe, at like 5,000. Yeah, we were like halfway there, I want to say. And I know we met around we checked in after Giving Tuesday.
I feel like we had a coaching call right after.
Yes, it was right
the
after.
The hangover of Giving Tuesday.
Yes. And, we were all like celebrating our wins and everything. And I was like, we only made 5,000. But, and you were like, send another email to the people who already gave. And I was like, but they already gave, Christina. Why would I don't want to seem greedy or like, and you're like, tell them what you've phrased, what that's going to be able to help, and where you are falling short. And so with much trepidation, I did. And I laid out exactly like you said, hey, we raised this much, and this is what it's going to be able to cover. But this is what's still lacking. And it was like bullet list. It was really easy to skim. And I said, we appreciate your donation already. If you have the ability, please, help support us some more. If you don't, please share this email with someone who may donate. And our largest donor at that time was a donation for $450. I will say that as well. We do not have any major donors.
Yep.
All of our donors are 1,000. Yes, yeah. 1,000 at that point. We're at still $1,000 or less. Our biggest donation the previous year had been 1,000. At this point, that $450 donation was our biggest donation. And I was like, originally, I was like, I should leave her off the list. She's already given so much. And I said, and then you're just like, just send it. So I sent it. And I was like, the worst that can happen is she just deletes the email, right? And so lo and behold, later on that day, I get a donation from $500 from that same donor. I about freaked right away. I went to Instagram and I DM'd Christina. I'm like, you're not going to believe this.
Except I'm like, of course I believe it. Yeah. Of course. It's like, it just shows so much. Like, number one, it shows that our brains are just sometimes wrong, right? And that everything you've described, I know every listener has felt before in that trepidation, in that, should I just segment out these couple of people, right? I've felt that before. Like, it's so normal, and it's what keeps us small. It's what keeps us small. And so like overcoming that piece is just such an important piece. And it's like, that email was just an invitation. It was an invitation for her to make another donation, for her to just share it, for her to do nothing, right? And to deny her that invitation for a cause she clearly cares about, that's like, that's on us, and that's not what we're here to do. And so it took a lot of guts, it took a lot of courage. And it also, the most fun part is it showed your brain that people want to help and they're not done yet. Just because they made a sizable gift doesn't mean they're done yet. So it's so good. And the other thing I want to underscore is that sometimes with emails, we think we have to tell this like just flowery, robust story that has all of the things and sometimes it's a bulleted list that says, this is what we've done. Amazing. This is what we want to do. This is how far we have to go. You coming? And it's like, that speaks to my heart sometimes. It's like, and you did it.
Yeah, that's my personality, is like, give me the facts. Stories are nice, but I need to know, what is it that what do we need? What are you asking me? Let me know, so that way I can make a decision. If I need more information, I'll read the rest. But I think it was one of the trainings. I think it was, you were saying how don't make people's decisions for them. Let them be the ones to make the decision, yes or no. And just all we need to do is give them the information and let them go from there. And that really hit for me.
Yeah, the next layer of everyone's work is the next layer of that. So you're like, okay, got it, noted, will do. And then the next layer is, don't make it mean anything catastrophic when they don't take the action you hoped they would take. Because oftentimes they're not taking the action for 1,000 reasons. It doesn't have to do with you. And it doesn't mean we stop, right? It doesn't mean we stop. So you've just been such a beautiful example of that. Thank you for sharing that piece with us. And I think too, you saw in that, so Amplify Social Impact is a self-study course, but I did some of these bonus coachings. You saw the impact of coaching, because it was like, oh, what if I just add hit the gas on this whole thing and get to where I need to go and not wait so long. And which is why I'm so thrilled that you're in the Purpose and Profit Club. Like, I'm just like, when you say things like, we haven't, and I keep adding the yets, I'm like, this is the year. This is the year we do these things together. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've always said, like, I wanted a coach. I wanted, even when I started the nonprofit, I was like, I don't know nothing about nonprofits. I don't know nothing about starting a business, running a business. I literally should not be here where I am today. I have no business doing this. I was actually having a conversation with my daughters about doing the hard things and not playing small and trying things. And I was like, look at what mommy has done. Because, not to toot my own horn, but good job.
Toot it.
I literally knew zero about any of this. I started a podcast. I learned about this condition, which there's like barely any information. I grew a huge community on during the pandemic, and that has grown after the pandemic. And it's just like, every time I do something, other people, like, when you're in the midst of it, you're just doing it. And in the beginning, the first couple of years, like, my husband and even my board are like, you don't understand what you've done. And I'm just like running, like, I'm not doing enough. I got to do more.
Yeah.
But this, I want to say, since like Giving Tuesday and into, I'm glowing I'm basking in my glow. Like, what I've done is a freaking amazing for where I came from. I have no background. I have no business in being able to double our freaking revenue in 1 year. Like, I listened to some business coaches and they're like, it takes 3 years to become profitable and da 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 da. We've been profitable from day one, and we have just grown. And the reason that I joined the coaching program is because I always said I wanted to have a coach. It just didn't have the funds to get to to be able to have the right coach, right? And so I did all the free, all the free conferences, all the free videos, all the podcasts. I'm downing it. And that's how I learned exactly what I learned. But I think I was like, I told my board, because I did have to get it approved through them, because it is a large amount of money. But I told them, I have taken us as far as the free stuff is going to take us. The amount of hours that I spend, watching videos, reading blogs, all of these things, I need someone who first is going to be able to look at what we have, what we've done, and let us know this is where your growth is. So I'm not wasting time doing ABC when I should be doing XYZ. And then telling me this is how to do XYZ, because I'm flailing. I'm trying all of the things and seeing what sticks. But someone who's done it time and time and time and time again, they already know what's going to stick.
That's right. And I think too, when you join a coaching program like this, it reminds me of, the first time you see a new therapist and you're like, all right, here we go. Here's who I am. Here's some of my stuff. It's like you have to re-explain. Or a doctor, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's my charts. Here's who, and when you have a coach, when you're in a coaching program, I'm like, oh, I already know you. I already know. So I know your foundations. I know your strengths. You can say to me, here's what I'm thinking for the year. Here's where I need help. Here's where I need guidance. But we're not having to constantly do what I would call discovery. Mm-hmm. We're not constantly like reviewing your baseline. And that's the piece on, I think, the free stuff, which I love some free stuff too. But that's the piece you don't get because you're hopping around from expert or from strategy in that sense. You're not getting like the follow through. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're exactly right. Cause you're like, okay, I can do XYZ from Sue. I could do DEF from Ed, but do Sue and Ed's thing kind of work together? And you're like, okay, you're piecemealing it, right? Where it's like, I have to, okay, and then what ended up, and I'm the worst. Well, no, I'm not, but I'm good. I'm working on my negative talk. But what I end up doing is I will start implementing Sue's stuff. And then halfway through, I hear Ed's stuff. And then I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So then I leave Sue's stuff half done. And then I'm like starting Ed's stuff. And then here comes, Mike with another one. And it's like, so I never really see things through completely,
That's right. That's right. And when you don't have that accountability piece, I mean, you just described everyone, by the way. I'd say typically for free stuff, there's two types of people. You're the better one because you're at least trying it. You're implementing in that free scenario. The other part is I'm like, don't watch this webinar like Netflix, y'all. Don't just consume it. Don't put an earbud in and wash dishes. And so a lot of times we see that too, where people are like, well, Christina's strategy is interesting. And then they just move on. But I hear you because you're almost code switching, right? And you're never really following through on one specific thing. So I want to talk about, I'm going to switch gears for a second. I want to talk about something that I think is really innovative that you do. You do quite a few innovative things. And I think it's going to be, and already has, but it's going to be the reason why your organization sees a lot of success in a short amount of time. So you already said, you're like, what am I doing here? Who am I to run this? You're the exact person to run this nonprofit, by the way. But in that, I think you've brought a lot of like not traditional nonprofit-y stuff into. So for example, here's what I mean. You have a podcast. You have a podcast. You host these events, live events, webinars. I don't know what you call them, where you bring in expert providers. You have identified our audience is hungry for information and there is a lack of information, and our organization is going to have a membership. You have an online membership. These are three things that I'd say 90% of my clients don't have, clients and students. So talk to us about that innovation, the way that you are more forward thinking in your organization.
Oh yeah. So the reason that all of those things came. So the podcast came first, the membership came second, and the nonprofit came third.
Okay, got
it.
And
what we did was when I started the nonprofit, I was like, okay, how are we going to incorporate the podcast and the membership because I don't want to kill them. And so what we did was we made it that the podcast is a marketing tool, right? It's an education tool as well, but it's a marketing tool as well. And then the membership, it ended up we turned it from, it was a for-profit membership that I started, and we turned it into, okay, we're going to envelope this into the nonprofit, and it's going to be a perk for our monthly and annual givers, our donors. And so they're going to get the benefit of this nonprofit, I mean, of this membership. And that's how we did it. That's exactly how we did it. And and what the evolution is, because when I started the podcast, I had no intention of ever starting a nonprofit. It was literally, I cannot be the only one that is looking for this information. I cannot be the only one that is feeling this way and looking for community. And so it was really to get the information out there, to build that community. And what I found really early on, like I started the I started the podcast in February. And by November, I was starting the membership. And in that, I'm a learner, right? All the free things I can learn, I'm in it. So part of that was listening to podcasts, following membership people that
Yeah.
taught you how to start memberships and things like that,
Yeah.
learning the different platforms. And so then the membership originally was a way for me to make money
Yeah.
to continue doing the thing. And then my co-founder reached out to me after she was diagnosed in, I want to say it was February, because it was right after her birthday. And she was like, hey, are you making money? And I'm like, not really. At that point, I was making like $150 a month from the membership. And she was like, she's a financial advisor. And she was like, we need to make this a nonprofit. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And so with her connections, she connected me with the YWCA in Illinois, in, oh my God, I'm blanking right now, Chicago. And they had a mentor program. And so that they were really our first business coaches. And they helped us through the process of starting the nonprofit, making sure that we were doing everything in line. And we just, I'm like the person that, like, I have an idea, I'm going to figure out how to do it ASAP. And like over time, I've had, like, my team has been like, okay, this is a great idea, but let's not do it in 2 weeks, okay? Because we need a little time. So now I'm like, okay, fine. But yeah, it's just been a growth. And like our we do an annual event, which is a week-long event, kind of like we were talking about, bringing in our experts. And so we bring in experts from all different type of fields, not just the medical field, because like I said, this condition affects your whole life, your self-esteem, your mental health, your relationship, or if you're dating or looking to date, your future relationships, how you look at yourself and treat yourself, and diet, exercise, all of the things. And so what I learned early on was the information that was out there is really just the medical websites, like the Mayo Clinic and all of that medical jargon.
Yeah.
All that medical jargon, but it doesn't tell you how to live with this condition.
Yeah.
How
it's
to
all
have
boilerplate.
A quality of life, right? It's all very much medical jargon. And my thing is, I want to give people hope. I want to let them know there is life after diagnosis. I want to let them know that they are not alone and they have a home. Even my membership is when they come in, it's like, you have arrived, you are home now. And we have like different rooms. So we have like the dining room, and that's like where people can chat, or we have the living room where there's their news feed and things like that. And
Yep.
so it really is, this is your home, right? And so we want people to be comfortable.
Now you have a summit coming up, right? This is
Yes.
that annual. Okay, tell us.
Yes, May 13th to the 17th, we have this is the fourth year that we're doing it. And like I said, we bring in experts from all different fields, mental health, um, physical health, pelvic health, all of that. And we over 5 days, we give people the information that they need, tips, tricks, um, education. This year we're adding in like workshops, and we want to do like a live panel and things like that. And it's very interactive, and there's a sense of community, and you're learning. And for a lot of people, this is the first time they've actually talked to someone that also has this condition. So it's very big. And this year we are so excited because our theme is partners, caregivers, and disclosure. And so we are broadening out from just our patients to their partners, to the people who are helping to take care of them. And then we're also going to give them tools on, how do you talk to people about this condition, whether it's your mom or your sister or your doctor or your significant other? How do you have that conversation in a way that's comfortable for you and honors, getting that information to the patient? So what we would love to be able to get information about this to all the kind of organizations that do women's health, menopause, especially because more than half of our audience are postmenopausal. That's one thing, is a lot of people get diagnosed after menopause. So, we have an older audience, and we got to get the information out there to them, especially because they're suffering. I don't know how many emails I've gotten from 70, 80-year-old people who are like, I've never talked about this. I don't even want my doctor to look down there, and it's just that there was a stigma, or there was a really big stigma, when they were younger, that they have taken into this time. And it's just like, so many people in past summits have let us know, I feel so much more empowered to talk about this
That's
after the
You're
summit.
giving people language. You're giving people,
Yes.
like you said, not only are they feeling seen and heard and understood, but you're giving them the language to have conversations that previously were just like, nope, put that on a shelf, not talking to anyone about that. You're doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where, I can't believe how fast this has flown by. Where can people connect with you, get involved with the organization, sign up for the summit? We'll link to it in the show notes, but give us some links real quick.
Absolutely. So our website is lssupportnetwork.org. You can email us at support@lssupportnetwork.org. We are on Instagram and Facebook, Lichen Sclerosis Support Network. I've joined TikTok. So
Welcome. The water's weird and kind of warm over there. I don't know. Listen, come hang out with me. Yeah.
We're on LinkedIn as well. Everything is at Lichen Sclerosis Support Network. So we are
Awesome.
all there.
And we ask every guest on the podcast, what is one thought you like to think on purpose? So this could be an affirmation, a mantra, just something that guides you forward into this work. Will you share yours with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my mantra is, I'm a very big believer in karma. And so I believe, you get back what you put out. And so I'm very much mindful of what I put out. And I just believe that it may not be tomorrow, but sometime down the line, and I've seen this time and time again, that the universe provides for me the people like you, Christina, in the time when I need them, not when I want them, because I wanted to coach three years ago. But I wasn't ready. Now I'm ready, and I'm so excited to start the coaching program. I'm so ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you.
That's such a good one. I totally agree. And I think you already articulated the nuance, but I think it's easy as nonprofits to think I'm putting in, so where's my getting, right? I'm pushing. And sometimes it's like, I'm cultivating this one donor, this one strategy. Why aren't they giving? Versus I'm giving value, and it's magic where it comes back and comes from, right? Of just
Absolutely.
like all the different ways it shows up. So thank you for that. Thank you for today. I have a feeling you're going to come back. We're going to dig into more, and we're going to talk about more successes in the future. So I can't wait.
Love it. Can't wait. Thank you.
Hey, high achiever. I know your sights are set on ambitious, world-changing goals. In the Purpose and Profit Club group coaching program, you can get the support, motivation, and strategy to accelerate your impact. I like to say it's where the inner work meets big impact and big funding. Go to splendidcourses.com/waitlist, and you will be first to be notified when we open up doors, and you'll get special bonuses when you join our waitlist. See you inside. Think you've reached out to everyone in your network? Are you out of ideas to get noticed and get funded? I hear you. That's why I'm giving you a chance to steal my prospect list. Yes, you can generate leads for your nonprofit or impact-driven business. Grab my mini training and list delivered to your inbox instantly. Go to splendidcourses.com/prospect.